Chapter 5, Section 510, Energy in the Cell. Now for this particular chapter, we're going to start with the second half of the chapter because that's what the lab is on today. So we're going to do the Section 510 to the end for this week, and then next week we'll start at the beginning of Chapter 5, which is what we'll be doing next week in lab. I also kept the flip presentation very short because I didn't want you to spend too much time on it. I want you preparing for your test. So cells are small units, a chemical factory housing thousands of chemical reactions. We've been talking about the cell now for at least a week or so. We know that cells use these chemical reactions for cell maintenance, manufacture cellular parts, and cell replication. So many things are going on inside of the cell. Now, in order to do these activities, cells need energy. And energy is defined as the capacity to cause change or to perform work. Now, there are two kinds of energy. We have kinetic and potential energy. And these are really main types of energy because there are other types as well. And we'll kind of hit on some of these different types of energy as we move through this part of the chapter. So we have kinetic energy. We can think of its energy of motion to actually move things. It's actually moving something from point A to point B. And then you have potential energy, and that's energy that has the potential. It can do something. So you can think of that apple that's sitting on your counter is potential energy, and when you eat it, you can then take that potential energy and use it to drive many of the processes in your body. So like to go for that walk or that jog or clean your house later today or study for your biology test. So in this picture, they're kind of showing you the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy. So, and again, we have our formatting issue, but that's okay. We can work around that. So we have our gasoline here and oxygen. You have to have oxygen in order to burn gasoline. And, you know, you put that in your gas tank and you cringe at how much that costs you. Although right now, gas is, well, it was better. It's still pretty good considering it's not $3 a gallon. So when we put that into our car, we put it in our gas tank, the car can then take that gasoline and use it to do kinetic energy so that you can get to school or to work or to the gym. And when we break down those molecules, that gasoline, the byproduct of that breakdown is carbon dioxide and water. So that's our internal combustion reaction. So we're taking potential energy and converting it to kinetic energy. Now, energy cannot be gained or lost, and we're going to talk about thermodynamics on Saturday, and we can see that some of that energy here is being lost or given off as heat. So in this picture, they're using the energy conversion of the cell, and we'll actually talk about cellular respiration in its own chapter here. So in this case, for an actual living cell, we have our fuel, which is our sugar, and of course we also need oxygen to burn this because this again is kind of like an internal combustion reaction. So we need our oxygen in order to burn glucose. The glucose then goes into the body. We convert it into ATP, which is kind of the currency of the cell, and that is able to drive many of the chemical reactions that occur. So that would be the chemical energy. Notice we do get heat off that as well, and the products are also carbon dioxide and water. Okay, light is also a type of kinetic energy and can be harnessed to power photosynthesis. Chemical energy is the potential energy available for release in a chemical reaction. It's the most important type of energy for living organisms to power the work of the cell. So you can think of light as being kinetic energy, and we take that kinetic energy and we're going to store it into a chemical energy, which is technically a potential energy, but we're going to store that energy in the carbon-carbon bonds in sugar, and then we're going to learn how the mitochondria takes that sugar and then breaks that down in kind of like an internal combustion engine to make ATP, which is another type of chemical energy. So we'll be studying those in a lot of detail when we get to the chapters on photosynthesis and cell respiration. So we will finish the rest of this presentation on Saturday, and good luck studying for your test.